Alright, I'm back. I am using two controllers so I can kind of have these guys resting. Alright, so how long have you been playing?
Me?
Yeah.
I've been playing for 2.5 years now.
Okay, and what's your tag?
Sora?
Sora? Okay.
Yeah, just Sora.
You've been playing for about 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. So, you can see what I'm seeing?
One sec. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Okay, cool. So, you just said that you are beating the Marths in your region because you're good at picking their habits up, right?
Yeah.
And you're saying you kind of want to learn like more about Marth himself.
Yeah, so when I went to America to play, I felt extremely lost because this was before we switched to NTSC. Now that Australia is all NTSC, I've learned a lot more already, but
Okay.
I couldn't really find many openings in neutral.
Okay.
Like I felt like I was very easily baited because I like heard about all these openings, but they knew that like more so they knew what the openings were, so they'd space it kind of weirdly. And I don't know, I don't really know how to describe it. I just really struggle to find openings with Marth
Gotcha. Gotcha.
against Marth. So
Gotcha. So, one good thing immediately is you're already addressing the problem directly, which is great. And I want you to make sure that when you have questions like this, right, that you also look at YouTube, right, in the same fashion, right, and you ask how do these foxes find openings, right, and where.
yeah, okay, I get what you mean.
So let's look at big weaknesses that Marth has. Okay,
Yeah,
these are the obvious ones, right? With Fair, it's not as obvious, but this is the weakness, right? So like, as the blade elapses, right, he's weak
yeah,
right now. Okay. The cue you want to look for when you want to punish aerials is, are they rising or low?
yeah,
Okay, so it's almost impossible to punish low aerials, right? Except for preemptively while I'm up here.
yeah,
Okay, so just know right off the bat that in neutral, for most of the part, you're not going to be able to punish Marth when he's kind of like this. Okay, there's just too many variations of what's going on. Right? Because he can do rising fair, he's drifting different directions, he can do falling fair. There's a lot of
yeah.
variations that are unfavorable to you.
Yeah, I completely understand. That's one of my main issues, actually. One like SA Nick, who's the third best here. He's like one of his main tropes is he's retreating double fairs, and sometimes I get a punish with spacing outside the first fair, CCing the second fair, and getting out of down tilt. But I found that like that's actually unsafe because a lot of the time they can just ASDI down the down tilt, and then they can just punish me for it. So
It's percent dependent,
I felt like
right?
yeah.
So you're finding some solutions to that, right? So you said running crouch and running block is one of them. Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, this
Also,
depends on what variation of aerial they're doing and spacing, of course, right?
yeah.
Right. And there's things that mess this up, right? If they do nairs or grabs, right?
Yeah.
So a big thing you want to learn from this dialogue is that the aerials alone are not enough of a cue to go in. You can gamble in 50-50 a lot of your approaches, but as I said, right, you're going to gamble them,
Yeah.
right? So let's find more guaranteed ways of accessing damage to Marth, okay?
Yeah, for sure.
So I want you to recognize this distance I'm at right here. Okay. There's only one thing Marth can do from this distance to punish on notice, right? And I'm going to use that kind of term, like on an instant, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's this one, right? And
Yeah.
it has a lot of restrictions, okay? You can crouch it, or you can block it, right? Or you can move into the non-tipper range, right? So from this distance on a notice, Marth is very limited in his approach, right?
Yeah.
He can't exactly do running crouch, right? It's a little too slow at that length. right? He can do pivots, but that's a little unusual, right? What I'm
Yeah.
ultimately getting at is that at this range, he can't do this, right? You're just outside of this, right?
Yeah, so this is a really solid range to stick at,
Yes,
and just be mentally aware of the dash attack as well.
exactly, right? That's the one caveat is you wanna be aware of the dash attack at this range, right? And you can play further. You can just choose to be outside of dash attack and pulling him in, right?
Yep.
And you'll notice a lot of foxes kind of play at this range into dash dance to pull Marth in, right? There's a high chance Marth will want to dash grab, right? Sorry, he'll dash grab, right? Or he'll do a dash attack, right?
Yep.
So you'll kind of already notice this spacing in neutral to begin with, right? Like how you were dash dancing before, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So it's really basically outside of his threat range, right? And as close as you can stay so that you can move on to a second range, okay? And the second range I'm going to call the whiff punish range, okay? It's
Okay.
about here. Right? So the first range I talked about is the range that you can react to all of his options. Right?
Yep.
And you want to do this so that you can reliably engage in neutral without gambling. Okay?
So this is the range that I want to be sitting at, but then there's also the whiff punish range, and
The whiff punish range is a second range, right? So
Oh yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
okay. And so you don't necessarily have to stand here, right? And like I described with the dash dance, you want to respect that range and understand it, right?
Yep.
Right? So that you can maybe pull him towards the fight or move forward when necessary, right? But
Yeah.
here's the whiff punish range, right? It's basically what Fox can do out of a dash,
Okay.
right? You can jump cancel up smash, right? You can dash grab. You can do these aerials, right? So look at his dash short hop, right? You kind of want to visualize this spacing, right? To be able to pounce strongly,
Yeah.
right?
And like at a decent range as well, where you can cover them dashing back as well. Like it sort of overshoots as well.
You have the ability to cover many distances from here, right? So when you're here, you could reach me, right? It's kind of a stretch, right? But
Yeah.
when we reach this whiff punish range, the options you have are very strong, right?
Yeah.
They're unreactable too, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right. So one of the keys I'm trying to explain to you is that there's a beginning part of neutral, right? Which is stay outside of what they can do to you,
Okay.
right? And then there's a second part, which is get to this dash spacing, right?
Oh, I get what you mean. So it's kind of like
A two-part
don't get
process.
hit by don't get like stay in the first range like
Yeah.
until you see a good enough opening because you don't
Yeah.
have to force openings.
Exactly.
I feel like that's definitely one of my like bigger weaknesses. I'm like patient in neutral, but then I'm like easily baited because I'm just trying to find reactable openings. But I think I'm standing in that like reaction part, not in the whiff punish part. So I see them like low fair, and I'm like, oh now, and then I just get easily baited.
Exactly.
So I think yeah, that's definitely one of my biggest weaknesses.
Exactly.
So now I'm gonna try implementing moving into the whiff punish range before I do anything like that,
Perfect.
because obviously that's not working. Okay, yeah, that's really good. That's like probably exactly what I needed on one of the bigger things.
Perfect.
Awesome to hear.
Perfect. I'm glad you talked it out with me too, because this is actually a mistake a lot of foxes do, which is they approach from this neutral zone, right?
Yeah.
And it's certainly possible, right? And you found ways to do it, right? But when you get closer to here, the variations of your approaches and the strengths of them are so much higher,
Yep.
right? So what are big ways and big keys to getting between neutral, right? You're just playing neutral, to this whiff punish zone, right? And the first technique I'm going to show you is just this, right? It's just wave dash down. You're going to play outside of the zone. You're going to see him do something, and then you're going to go here, right?
Okay.
So when Marth does this, that's your cue to enter this zone, right?
Yep.
I'm not doing anything with his rising fair except for waiting here.
Okay.
And why do I
Yeah,
wait
get
here?
what you mean.
I wait here because I can dash. Exactly.
Yeah, you're exerting the pressure already, and he's like, what's gonna come next is probably just a low fair, which is basically, yeah, like you said, borderline unpunishable.
Right.
So,
But
having the ability to be in that zone already is already good. This is like blowing my mind right now. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't just like put the pieces together.
well, yeah, someone has to kind of spell it out to you, right? And once you're here,
Yeah.
right, and he does that low fair, then you can grab the low fair, right?
Yeah.
And, or he's forced to do a mix-up, and then you kind of appreciate the mix-up, right? But
Yeah.
it's like you don't want to skip from this step to hitting him too fast. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there
I completely
there are
get
times
that.
where Fox kind of skips that, and that's how you're gonna get intercepted.
Yeah, for sure. I just gotta break it down more.
Right. So as you play neutral, you're gonna find a way to get into here, right? And sometimes it's like you play neutral and like drill in place, right? Or just dash dance grab and bait him, right?
Yeah.
But there's lots of ways of like dancing around these spots and masking where you actually are, right? Because Marth is not going to just stand still, right? He's going to be doing something like this too. Yeah, right? So you both know this kind of distance 1 or distance 0, whatever you want to call it, right? Which is neither of us can hit each other.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe maximum reach dash attack. Maybe your maximum reach something, right? But like, that's not exactly what you're scared of, right?
Yeah.
What you're scared of is like, if Marth is in this range, he dash grabs you, or he starts doing, aerials, right?
Yeah.
So you don't enter here until you know it's safe, or you don't go past here until you know it's safe, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So break down neutral into 2 phases. First, where neither of you are hitting each other, and then second part with punish range.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I completely get that. And I guess obviously occasionally mix up from the full length range, because if he just starts anticipating this, like he could go even further and like just like start mixing up like really long grabs, like just like near full running grabs and everything. So just be like aware that like how unsafe that is, because I feel like if I just accept that like, oh, he can only safely dash attack here, or like, oh, he can only safely do this, like that's when they mix up the truly unsafe options, like, and they're reactable, sure, but like I just have to keep that in mind.
And
They might get desperate.
Yeah, and you're actually centering on a very key part of the game, which is when you get them to only do one thing, right? You like skew the weight of rock paper scissors, right? You like brace yourself for the one option, right? Better, or you defend against it in a predictive way, right?
Yeah.
Right, and that's really the bigger part of neutral, and I'm glad you're picking up on it, right? That shows you have a lot of you're thinking about neutral a lot, which is it's not just about like get to a spot and hit them, right? It's like pulling back and forth with that tension of the fight, and making each other respect distances, right?
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Okay, so other big cues, right? When he lands, he has a plan. Okay.
Yeah. One of Spud's biggest plans when he lands is usually like it's like near spot dodge a lot of the time, because he was kind of prying on what we were discussing before about me using the range poorly, like the dash range. He's
So you
very good at like yeah. Sorry.
No, you're right. Keep talking.
Okay, so so I would be in like the incorrect range, and I see the nair, and I felt like instead of punishing it low with like an up smash, I'd try and meet him in the air a lot. So I'd either get hit, or I'd be too late because the nair auto cancels, and he'd like get out of spot dodge. And back when it was power days, he'd just fall over. And I was just like, wow, I just got nothing for that. Like I just feel like I wasted. Like he got a free attempt to hit me basically, and it was just kind of it was just kind of really bad.
Right.
I haven't had a chance to. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to see how just hitting the shine alone will do now. But a lot of the time, I feel like that wasn't the problem. The problem was I was in the wrong range, and I could have gotten more. So now I feel like this has helped me out a lot with stuff like that.
That's good, and I'm glad you talked about 2 things, right? One is the shine punish will be better in PAL, of course, right? And then 2, correcting the range that you engage with will open up more options for you, right? So remember this whiff punish range. You can use full hop from here easily too, right? Especially dash full hop, right? Dash full hop allows you to get all cross ups.
Yes. Yep.
Right, so definitely take advantage of not only jumping from stationary, right, but also what dash jumps look like, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then, as you said, right, if you're fighting at the wrong range, this is very easy to bait, right? Especially with drifts.
Yeah.
Right. So the thing is you don't want to punish the nair, right? You want to punish his follow up on the landing, especially any rising aerial, right? That's the big cue. With rising aerial, they're gonna mask or cover their tracks. That's the way I describe it, right?
Yeah.
So you want to get close to where nair whiffs, right? And then you want to see what they do to cover their tracks, right? So if his favorite one is this, right? You wait here, he spot dodges, and then you do exactly whatever you want out of dash, right?
Yeah.
And my last lesson before you, I literally just had the dude practice over and over and over, punish from here to here, right?
Okay.
Like, I would go to training mode and have the dude be stationary, or I would DI for him or whatever, and he would just go from here to punish, right? And that's really the only skill you need to reproduce consistently, right? You want to
just feeling comfortable.
Exactly. You want to consistently have Marth whiff on you, be at this spot, and then feel like you can zero to death them at any moment,
Yeah.
from here. All right, but don't skip the neutral step to get to here, right?
Sure.
And then
Okay.
once you're comfortable with the first part of neutral, you mastered this part, which is go from whiff punish range to kill Marth, and how you consistently do it, right?
Yeah, just trying to get like solo punishes. I'm trying to get my So my wave shine grabs are fine on Marth right now, but because I just haven't had the experience, wave shine up smash is a bit finicky.
It's hard. It's definitely hard.
Yeah.
What I'll say to you is that Marth is one of the last characters you'll be able to wave shine up smash. So if it's on the edge of your skill, know that one is the hardest one, right? That you do have the top tiers, and that two, that grab is extremely acceptable replacement.
Yeah, I'm consistent with the grabs on him.
Yeah.
But it's just up smash just feels right now it just feels very strange. I'm not sure why.
It's
I think
because
it's just because I have to dash a bit longer.
yeah, you need to frame perfect dash out of the shine. So it's two frame perfect inputs. It's
Oh really?
yeah, it's wave dash at a good length, and then dash first frame of wave dash.
Wow. I actually didn't know that it was frame perfect.
Well, he'll shield. He'll shield if he doesn't, right? So like with frame.
Oh, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, right. So it's just something as small as that, where like you just have to know both that the wave dash has to be good, and then you have to get the initial dash better, right?
Yeah.
And if you
Okay.
are any frames late on the initial dash, you'll know as it's happening to do
Okay.
grab instead.
Yeah, you can just feel when a sloppy wave shines there, and you're just like, you know what, just grab instead.
Yeah,
Because like they're always gonna buff a shield, and like
Exactly.
even if they buff a roll, it doesn't come out to like what frame 2?
Yeah, they're not invincible until frame 2 at least, and then so
Yeah.
anything that's super frame tight like that, be acceptable with grab and work on that safe damage, right? One of the key lessons I teach all Fox players is all of your matchups, Marth, any of your matchups, it's all about safe, consistent damage, right? So if you can just find ways to just get shine to grab to up air, and every time you touch Marth you do 70, he'll die in 2 times.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And then it's just a matter of you getting better at this to deal 70, right?
Sure.
And that's just the basics of Smash, right? Don't get hit, punish when you know you can punish strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you mean. I feel like once I do get that first opening on Marth and put him in the disadvantage state, that's where I like tend to shine the most in this matchup. Like, because that's when I feel like Marth makes sense, when he's just like in the air finally. Because like he's obviously so weak when he's in that spot. He has to mix it up poorly because his options are awful, and like up tilt just shreds him. I feel up tilts and just like falling up airs and nairs because he just can't really do much with it.
Sounds like on the offensive part, you're pretty strong and keen on it. So let me go over just one or two more neutral aspects. All right.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's fine.
So I'm glad you're learning as quickly as you are, because it sounds like you're piecing it together. And whenever I leave a gap for you to say something, you're always picking it up very quickly. So that's good.
Oh, okay, so.
All right. So let's talk about this topic real quick, because I love talking about stances. Okay. So when Marth is dashing, right, he is in pretty low commitment. Right. You said Spud likes to nair a lot, right? So know that it's very rare for a Marth to like run into aerial, right?
Yeah.
It's just less accurate, right? Or if he does, it's more committed, right? So you have time to brace yourself, right? So it's up to you to change your decisions based on his stance, right? And when I talked about initial distance, right? Sometimes it's really just a matter of, as I dash, you dash, right? And it's a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
Right. And so when Marth overcommits like this, with his dash dance, get a little closer and then test the waters on the whiff punish range, right? So it's kind of like a gray area where you enter this and he may or may not be able to hit you, right? He's not in lag necessarily, right? It's like positional lag or positional disadvantage. Right?
Okay.
That's what I'm kind of getting at. Like you get a read on his movement, or he's stuck in some way, right?
Yeah.
That's when you go for those gambles, right? That's when you go for like the running crouch or the running shield, right? Or you kind of test the waters with something like that, right?
Yeah.
And the cues for you are the stances, right? How he's moving and how he's locking himself into his movement, right? With Marth, it's going to be big dashes, little dashes, or wave dash, right? And no player is going to be perfectly random, right?
Yeah. They're all going to have habits.
Mm-hmm. So when it comes time to burst through neutral, right? Because we talked about this space, kind of get to this space and hit him, right? But when it's moving so fast and you want to really break neutral, you want to use that positional strength, right? So where is he on the backdash, right? He always ends here, right? And he starts here. So you get to the whiff punish range right here, and then act or not, or move or not, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Because I feel so with the whiff punish range as well, I have to account for his dash range as well, because there are not enough Marths. I don't think they like extend their range artificially enough here, so I feel like just keeping an eye on the just like the limits of his backdash here is enough to like it's just enough for now, at least, until I like figure it out more. I'm forced to figure it out more, with, like artificially doing it with like wave dashes and like cactuar dashes and all that. But for now, I get it. Yeah.
And I like what you're getting at, right? Where you need to implement lots of different movement techniques to sneak your way into these spots. But the lesson is always the same at the end of the day, which is you can never get too close to Marth, right? You want to be always outside of that whiff of the sword, like the fair or the nair or maybe even F smash or up tilt, right?
Yeah.
And you always want to get close to him, be available, and then punish right from that dash or with punish range, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think I get I think I get what you mean. I feel like I was very misguided because like a lot of times when I like look up like on matches or like analysis, they're like, Fox wins when he's on top of Marth, but it's just like being borderline on top of Marth is extremely difficult.
Yes.
Because these aerials, sure, they're better at range, but they're fast. Like they're extremely fast, and he has a lot more time to react to you getting to him, rather than you do like hitting him like from a range.
Yes.
Like that's why I feel like that with punish range you're talking about is extremely important, because I have to find out how to utilize it properly. And now that I understand that like being that close now and like it all being on him instead of on me, it's like it's just starting to like the cogs are like starting to turn. Like it's not me that it matters about. Like I don't have to force an option, and I don't have to react to him. Like he has to react to me.
Yep.
Like Yeah.
Yep, and I'll tell you more about my perspective of it too. And you're catching on so many great things, right? So when we get to this range, even at this range, I'm the one that starts guessing.
Yeah.
Right? Because of how fast Fox is, he can literally just dash at me in under a second, right? So
Yeah.
I cannot reliably react to this range, right? These are all reads and movement based, right?
Yeah.
And you're right, which is when Fox is on top of Marth, he's winning, right? Unless he's being grabbed, he's winning, right? But there's a lot of times where Marth is here setting up his defense, right?
Oh no, that's what I was saying, that like getting like that when people were saying that, I didn't really understand. But like it's because his defense is so tight that like staying on top of him like that it was pretty hard.
Yeah,
That's why I'm saying like
yeah. I'm agreeing with you. And what you're getting at though is because he has to commit to startup, right? He has to commit it to it from this range, right? So like I'm actually teaching the lesson in reverse at this time, right? So like
Okay.
you know to get to here in order to do more damage now, right?
Yeah.
But in the reverse side, Marth is like so scared of it that he's actually predicting a lot of the times here, right?
Yeah.
So there's a reason why you play at these ranges, right? And that you have to eventually move closer to this with punish range, right? It's because Marth is so scared of you, he has to like make these prediction or like preemptive moves.
Yeah. I completely get what you mean, because you're just releasing so much pressure just with your spacing there, because like in that previous range, the initial neutral range, like your pressure is nowhere near as much as it is there.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
when you get to this spot, just know that you can always kind of just force a response in some way. Like the only way you get hard punished is like that or dash attack, right? And whenever you constantly forward pressure Marth, he's either gonna move back or dash dance or zone, right?
Yeah.
So like think about it from his perspective when you're playing neutral, right? That once you enter this range, he starts protecting himself because of his restriction on move, right? Like he has so much startup and end lag compared to the fact that you can bring your body up to here and then just like instantly become a hurt box, right?
Yeah, I tried playing Marth a lot to like figure out where I felt the most uncomfortable, and that was definitely like where I felt like when the Fox was close like that. That's where I like personally felt the most uncomfortable. So I guess it was just a matter of me picking it up personally in my own game. Yeah, this is like all making a lot of sense.
Totally, dude. And you see where Marth is right now? Marth is right now at where Fox's dash jump is. Right? He's camping different spots of this dash jump, hoping that you misassess the neutral distance, right? And then it's up to you to like get up to here, right? As he keeps pulling back.
Clean it up.
Exactly.
Because every time he goes backwards, he's just losing more and more stage. So even if you're not hitting him, he's just losing.
And as he loses that backwards space, right? His ability to express himself, right? That's the way I describe it, right? The variations of neutral, right? In respecting this distance, right? When you get pinned back here, the way you can appreciate and respect this spot change, right? His options become more and more limited, right?
Yeah.
So always remember that distance dictates so many of the decisions, right? Like there are some foxes who just do this. Why does this work, right? It's because it's right.
Dash attack as well.
It's right where Marth is like outside of his burst range, right? You're guarding right outside of it, so he's like forced to like move into that range in a different way.
Yeah.
Right. So Marth would have to move like to here and then burst into his range.
Yeah, so you'd have to be a lot tighter with it.
And yeah, it's all these micro spacings, right? Where like I'm moving and masking where I actually am multiple times.
Yeah.
Right? And where you initiate from all has to do with the respect to this, right? Like how I can notice he whiffed, you know?
Yeah, I get what you mean there. So, are you saying the drill that the foxes do there is correct? Like that's the right thing to do in that range?
Sometimes. It's just one of the techniques to like mask your position and what you want to do, right? Because it's just so hard to get a stationary combat, right? So like
Yeah, for sure.
when Marth is dash dancing like that, right? And then you drill out right outside of his range, right? There's a reason it's good. Right? Because it's outside of his ability to get you.
Yeah.
Right, and you want to use all your different tools. Like, there are some foxes, and I can't say, you know, I haven't watched any of your gameplay, right? But they'll do the nair or the zoning moves like here, right? And it's very obvious with Marth that's incorrect because he can just hit you, right, with F smash, right?
Yeah.
But with other characters, it's less obvious that this is wrong, right? And it's because you want to be outside of their movement when you zone, right? You don't want to like whiff a move right on top of them, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? You want to whiff the move where they're gonna move into. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Right? So like, there's a reason this drill is good, right? It's because he's moving into it, and I'm not whiffing right here.
Yeah. So it's just not so easily punishable as the others. Like
Exactly.
that drill, the initial drill that you're doing that's clearly unsafe against Marth could potentially work against, say, Falco, just because of lower burst movement. But it's like prone to potentially getting Peach dash attacked or something like that. Like it's just, instead of seeing like that neutral spacing as, say, this is where you space in neutral, I've got to like break it down more to characters. So that spacing, the other spacing, the one that you're doing now, that's like the correct one for Marth. And okay, that makes a lot of sense as
Definitely.
well.
And you're thinking about a character dependent, right? How they move out of their you know, their burst movement, or like how can they hit you on reaction, right?
Yep.
Right. And I'm glad you're breaking it down, because now you're able to like not only pick different moves, but like know which spots to put them, right?
Yeah. Say, did you want to try it connecting? It's like it's not too slow with FM, but it's like obviously unplayable if we were to say like play a match. But it's just like you can get like points across pretty easily.
We can try. We can definitely try.
No worries. Did you want to host?
Sure.
Alright, no worries.
Do you have 20xx?
I do not have 20xx.
Okay. After this lesson, I'm gonna ask you to. Oh, we can screen share. Perfect.
Oh. Yeah. I don't have it on my PC, but I have it on my console that I practice on.
Oh, you do. Do you know if you have Barrel Buster?
I do not know if I have Barrel Buster or not.
Okay. Not a lot of people know this training mode. Okay, I Discord messaged you. So.
Okay, no worries. I'll join now.
After we do a quick spar, I can show you what Barrel Busters is.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work, unfortunately. That's fine.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Yeah, I had a feeling that would happen.
This is
You
sick.
like that ping? You like that ping?
0 ping.
I hope you don't mind. I bought 40 people named exactly the same thing as me as well. Hope you don't mind.
Is that what happens when it's this far?
Yeah, it just does that.
Okay.
It's Australian internet. It honestly depends on the time of day. Like this will happen to someone next door from me as well.
Whoa.
It's pretty bad.
Australian
It's
internet.
actually, yeah. I was playing with do you know Envy?
No.
He made the SoCal combo video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was just like we played for like like 20 minutes on like 20 buffer, and it was borderline playable. Borderline playable, I promise.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
so continue.
Are you screen sharing with me right now?
Do you want me to screen share back? Sure.
Yeah.
I'll just boot up.
Or you don't have to. Sorry, you don't have to show me your screen. But can you see what I'm doing?
Oh yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is 20xx. Do you know when you downloaded 20xx on your console?
Yeah, I have plus right now.
So is that recent or like within a year ago?
It's the most recent one.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Then you have what I have. Okay, so you can do this on your console right now, unless it's inconvenient. But go to
Oh yeah, I'll go turn it on.
Yeah. Go to one player mode. All right.
Give me 1 second.
Sure. It sounds like a controller.
Alright, so go to 1-player mode.
Okay, so let me know if when you go to event match, you see Barrel Buster.
Okay, sure. Yeah, on the home screen, main screen, for some reason it lags and then it runs super smooth. So
Cool. I've had hacked games do that too.
Yeah, I have no idea why. But okay. So
I hear the music.
event match and yeah, Barrel Buster.
Okay.
Do you want me to turn it down? By the way, is that loud?
I mean, it's whatever.
Okay, so
Go ahead and pick Fox. Okay, so in this custom event mode, there are 4 barrels that spawn. Okay, whenever a barrel is destroyed, another will spawn, so that there's always 4.
Okay. Oh, this is sick. This is really good. Some practice.
Yeah.
Like aerial practice.
So you'll notice that your percent is how many barrels you broke.
Yeah.
Okay, and what you'll also notice is that certain attacks take multiple hits.
Yeah, like drill and everything.
Yeah, right. So you want to do your hard hits, right? And you want to make sure. What's up?
Just like nail them and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to make sure you're dashing, you're fast falling, and everything perfectly, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you dash after aerial quickly.
Okay.
Right. So for Fox, you should aim for 200 plus if you're only going for high score.
Yeah.
Okay, and that just means basically moving as fast as you can, doing aerials and up tilts only, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. Looks pretty easy to get to 200.
Yeah, you can do it. The big thing is usually dashing after aerial. That's usually people's biggest weakness, or fast falling, either one.
Yeah, especially when the barrels are stacked and like it becomes like ice funnels.
Exactly, multiple hits, right? And this is good practice on hitting shield or multiple characters, right? And you're also going to get better at just moving on battlefield into hitbox, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're only going for high score, definitely shoot for 200. If you want to use this exercise differently, you definitely can. Okay? So you can only do shield stop aerials, right? You could choose to only do back air, right? Like you can only do back airs to all of these. Right? You could choose to only do up smash, right? You have to find a way to up smash all the barrels as fast as possible, right?
Okay.
Right. So not only are you trying to navigate quickly with your hitboxes, right? You want to also creatively push yourself while you practice.
Yeah.
Right? So especially with shield stopping, right? Becoming accurate with movement into perfect shield stop into perfect drift, right?
Yeah. I get what you mean.
Right. So there's a lot of variation to like how you can move and attack with the character, right? But you want to make sure you're doing it mindfully, right? Which is why I say there's 2 ways to practice. You know, a high score for just tech skill.
Yeah.
And then with restriction to help some of your current movement options.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Right.
I feel like a lot of it will help out as well. Just like a lot of I feel like a lot of my problems as well stem from just like lack of speed.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if I can like pick stuff like this up, like just like barrel busters say like only like nair, but I have to shine after every nair, and like it'll force me to like move out of the shrine as fast as I can.
Yep. Exactly, right.
Okay.
It's a very fun exercise because there's score and time and it's open to interpretation, right?
Yeah.
Right. Definitely don't do it only for high score.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because then you get into really bad habits.
Yeah, but I mean, doing it for high score once in a while is fun and there is some merit to it. So you can have fun with that one. That's one of my preferred practice modes, right? And I love teaching it to students because of, as I said, restrictions. here I'm going to show you another one. You're going to go to training.
Training mode.
Right? You're going to pick Fox and whoever you want. We did Marth today.
Yeah, sure.
You're going to pick whatever stage you want.
I'll just go FD, I guess.
Right? So at first you can just do it from standstill, right? But I want you to do your best to like literally 0 to death him, right?
Why is he? Sorry, he's falling over. I forgot to change it from power.
Oh, it's okay.
I was so triggered.
Oh no, the shine is not comboing him.
Yeah, it's not free.
Oh, what a tough life in PAL.
No, it's actually way better sometimes in power. Like especially at the ledge, like one double shine, he's gone.
Oh my gosh. But then you don't get all that guaranteed damage in neutral.
Tech chasing, I like spent like 3 hours
Practicing
just
tech
like
chasing.
like 3 hours, yeah, like a daily, because this was like one of my hardest. Like that's why I feel like my punish game in power is way better. Like just practicing what you can do. A lot of it's unreactable, and I found out that tech roll in and tech in place are extremely similar because his momentum's like so hardcore.
Yep.
That yeah, he barely goes anywhere with tech in. So I felt a lot more like mindful of like just a 50-50 now, more so than like a 33-33-33.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really good.
That's a good way to look at the
so
game.
changing it back.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So now you have to focus on the NTSC shine, right? Which is just guaranteed damage from the throw or up smash, right?
Yeah, it's just so much less stress, honestly. It's just be faster. Like, it's just so nice.
Yep. Yep. So we start this exercise with just stand, and to make sure that you can 0 to death the bot while nothing's going on, right?
Yeah.
The second part of this is to put him on evade. Right?
Evade? So, yeah.
Evade, yeah. So you just press start and set the CPU from stand to evade. Right. So the first part is you want to make sure on each of the stages, right? On FD, of course, it's a little bit more straightforward. But on each of the stages, you have a plan from the most basic setup, right? Him just standing. Into finding, you know, your damage. Right?
Okay.
The second part of this is going to be evade, right? So before you start attacking or doing anything, I want you to kind of like get closer to him and notice how he evades you, right? It's
Yeah,
mostly
jumps out of the corner.
exactly. It's mostly full hop and dashing, right? So when you go to start this exercise of 0 to deathing him, right? You want to take diligence on how it's occurring, right? So don't drill him while he's in the air, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. You can punish him on his landing, or you can punish him in the air. Up to you. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So this is just a very simple execution test on a moving target, right? Compared to the standing target.
Yeah, sure. So it just adds like a layer of actually playing neutral slightly.
Exactly.
Instead of just like comboing the market there.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
these ones with DI, right?
it's slight DI. It's just like he's holding away from you, I think.
Okay.
And here's the caveat that I have whenever I watch people do this training mode, okay? Is that I consistently see them do approaches that are not exactly the type of approach they would do in a real match. Right? With Fox, it's a little bit more clear to do, you know, like just drill or shine or whatever. But with other people, they'll start their combos with fake approaches or fake openers, right? So be mindful on this exercise to always, you know, pretend it's like a real approach.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just get into bad habits. Like, sure, you can hit him, but have fun trying to hit him if you're not thinking about it.
Exactly right. My previous student, he liked falling up air with Marth, right? So getting falling up air on the CPU is not that hard. But I told him, you know,
But in a match, it's
yeah,
really
exactly,
ridiculous,
right. So the openers you choose to do on this have to be consistently available to you, right?
Sure.
And we spent a lot of time talking. What's up?
Like you're running shines in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And we spent a lot of time today talking about going from neutral into whiff punish, right?
Yep.
So this is kind of you know, following up on the second part, right? You're entering the spot and punishing,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
right?
Yeah, so it lets me just kind of like get comfortable with like not like get comfortable with the zone, but just like start picking up like, okay, this is the zone. Okay, like I gotta try and like shadow box it as well. Like what would they do here?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like and then like try and figure it out and see if like just like try and imagine if it's safe. I feel like a lot of the time like that like I've played for a while now, so I feel like I can kind of pick up on like what is safe and what isn't. So I feel like just getting the punish while doing the first part, like now with the in the whiff punish thing, instead of just wildly hitting Marth, is gonna just help out a lot.
Exactly, right? Now you're like bracing
Yeah.
yourself for all parts of the match, and you have a plan the whole time, right?
Yeah, for real.
That's good.
Yeah, I really get that.
That's good.
I'd actually one question as well.
Yeah.
Just it's separate from this, but yeah. I actually struggle to implement running shine against Marth a lot. I feel like a lot of the time when I try and go too deep with like an overshoot with running shine, I just get grabbed out of it. Like they just turn around and grab me.
Okay.
I think I'm just either being too obvious about it, or I don't understand what to do after the running shine.
Sure. So those are two separate questions. So I'll answer the first one, which I think is the easier part of it.
Sure.
You're probably starting running shine from too far,
Yeah.
right? And it's a stance-based thing. Remember? So
Yeah.
when you enter run, right? That's the first time you can enter crouch.
Yeah.
Right? So I want you to stop hitting Marth, and I want you to do the shortest length running shine.
Yep.
Right? That's what you really need to practice, right? What you really need to practice is dash, run, crouch, shine at the shortest length.
Yeah, just try and just like, because otherwise you don't want to like be like doing your running shines for like halfway across the stage. That's just ridiculous.
Well, not only that, but go back to what we talked about stances, right? You telegraph what stance you're in so far in advance, right? But if on the first frame of dash into run, you crouch, I get no notice, almost no notice, right?
Yeah.
Right? And not only that, but you should also practice the dash jump shine, right?
Oh yeah, just jump into shines. Yeah.
Right? The ones that are close, right? My tech skill's not very good, but I would say all foxes should practice the dash shine, right?
Yeah, it's really good like just random spark like scrapping.
Yeah,
It's just like it kind of just like one turn scraps. Like it's ridiculous.
exactly,
And
right?
just having access to it like that's such a good range. Like I guess I should practice that a lot more.
They're both sick,
It's
right?
like the same. Yeah.
Both running shine and the dash shine are sick, right? But you need to practice the skill of doing it in the shortest reach or the quickest way, right?
Yeah.
And then what do you do after it?
The running shine.
I think that was the second question you had.
Oh yeah, so a lot of the time say it doesn't hit or yeah, like I just miss and like they're really close to me. I kind of like panic on what to do, so I'll be like
Okay.
running shine and then like I'll like throw out like a wave dash back or something. Or like sometimes I'll try and wave dash through them, but a lot of the time that doesn't work. I just get grabbed.
Okay. So you need to practice the follow-up on these shine approaches, right? So like when you drill dash shine and run shine, you need to also drill in the follow-up, right?
Yeah, sure.
So most of the time, wave dashing down or wave dashing in any variation is pretty solid, right? So it doesn't matter too much if you shine and wave dash, unless you wave dash into them while whiffing, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And then there are other variations of this too, right? You can do shine grab, shine up smash, and shine aerial.
Yep. So it's just like say they do things like they try and turn around and grab you out of your shine, or like react to the shine. Like the up smash will come out like same frame as the grab.
Yeah.
So they have to react to the shine. So you always win it.
Yeah, so
Okay.
for instance, you doing a running shine aerial is actually like unreactable, right? But you just need to practice that mix-up where like you commit to the shine aerial before it's even out, you know?
Yeah.
And something that's just good form, man. Like I've been beaten by running shine aerial a lot. You try to spot dodge it or shield grab it or something, and you just get kicked.
Yeah, it's just like trying to punish like the initial part of it's like ridiculous.
Exactly, right? And these are just like strong gambits you can position yourself with just shine jump cancels, right? Shine jump cancel to anything.
Yeah.
Right, and it's all up to you to practice the strength of running shine and dash shine.
Yeah.
All right, I have one last exercise for you before we end our lesson. All right?
Yeah, no stress. Thanks for everything, by the way. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. You're my first student this far, so I'm excited.
Oh, really?
I mean, you are the farthest, right?
Oh yeah, true. I kind of forget how isolated we are sometimes.
So do me a favor and go to screen share and look at my screen.
Yeah, I'm just looking at now. Motion sensor bomb.
Yep. So this is the last practice mode that you have. I'm not sure if you have this problem, right? Because I'm not watching your screen.
Oh, sure.
But one problem that some players have while we play is that they don't. We'll be playing in neutral, right? And you're moving and you're doing stuff, right? And remember we talked about like this initial distance, right?
Yeah.
They will make the mistake of going past this initial distance too frequently. Okay? So I'll say like this is how you play neutral, right? You dash dance outside of here, outside of the range that Marth can burst grab you. Right? So here's the lesson. Okay? And I want you to notice that the motion sensor bomb is actually very, very big.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Right? It's actually very big. Right? So pretend Marth is facing me, right? And that's about where his dash grab would be. Right? You want to just practice neutral in such a way that you never get hit by the bomb.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It's actually, yeah, it's just like a really good, like, it's just like the floor is lava, basically.
Exactly. There's instant feedback, and when you're too close. I can't say if you have this problem right now, where you move too close to the wrong spot, but if you...
so this will, like, mitigate that completely.
Exactly. Should you have this problem, yeah.
Yeah, so like forces me to. I feel like it's actually really good as well for like just basic dash dance practice. Like it's like obviously like you want to like control a certain space, just like really just like break down how to like make sure your dash dance is like nice and like fine tuned. Just like put motion sensor bombs both sides, stay in between it. Yeah, alright, that's sick.
And make sure when you're doing this movement drill that you don't do the exact same types of dash dances only.
Okay.
Right? You want to have some variation of it or control on the variation. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like
yeah.
What actually would be really good was motion sensor bomb. Just like it hits me just outside of my arm. Like I make a save state when I get it, and motion sensor bombs only trigger when if I'm late on running shine. Like if I'm like do a running shine too late. Like did you get what I say? Or what I'm saying? Sorry.
Yeah, kind
so,
of.
Like,
if the distance.
If I go up. Yeah. So say I do the running shine like 3 frames like too late, like I'm in run for 3 frames and then I do the shine, the bomb will hit me. But if I do it as soon as I can, I won't get hit by the bomb.
Yeah, you can do it with distance feedback and you can also do it with frame data feedback.
Oh yeah, so like I like do color overlays, I guess.
Yeah, basically as soon as you turn into run, the overlay would change color, right? And so you just have to see the least number of frames on run.
Yeah, that sounds a lot easier actually.
The distance one is good visually because you don't always do the running shine on frame 1 of run, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, what I'm really happy is that you're thinking about all these different things to work on, right?
Okay.
So Sora, before we end the lesson, let me just write down everything that we talked about, right?
Sure.
So the first thing we talked about was neutral range and whiff punish range.
Yeah.
We talked about punishing with consistent damage from the whiff punish range. Right? From you just basically dash onto Marth and do running shines, aerials, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
We talked about Marth's landing, right? You don't want to punish the aerials themselves and the variations of the aerials, right? You want to understand where he's landing. And we talked about just, I guess the best way to say it is just different training modes.
Yeah, just different ways to get all the points like effectively practiced out and grinded out. Yeah, it's awesome. That was actually great as well. That was really good. I feel like it was just like I just needed a bit of glue for the pieces, and then you're just like, here you go, buddy, and I'm like, oh, sick. So now it's just like all making heaps more sense.
Yeah, you are a pretty intelligent guy, and you finished a lot of my
cheers, man.
sentences, so I have a lot of high hopes for
Oh yeah,
you.
that's a really bad habit. My bad.
No, it's
Definitely stop doing that.
no, it's fine. I do that a lot myself. I'll be frank. And I'll just say it's a sign that you know where the conversation is going. I'm not trying to say it rudely, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. So it's
No,
a good
it's
sign.
probably a bad habit with a coach there. So I should probably
Don't worry about it, man.
Just chill it out.
We're all
That's sick.
we're all new to this, right?
Yeah, true. Alright, sick. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll just PM me. We have PayPal. Is PayPal good?
Yeah, PayPal's good. I'll DM you my PayPal right now.
Alright, no stress, man. Alright, and yeah, thank you so much. I'll definitely start grinding it out.
Yep.
Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for taking the lesson, man. Peace.
No worries, man. Take it easy. See ya.
All right. Thank you, stream, for staying tuned. My dolphin is crashed, and I forgot how to kill dolphin while it's crashed.